Hello everybody. We are doing the group blood hunt, and I'm doing it with a guildie of mine. So as soon as he gets the quest for it, then we will run in and start the instance.
I'm here, Master. You are much improved.
Now just bear with me because I tend to get lost easily. It's terrible, but yeah, so we'll start out. The first real fight in this island is actually kind of hectic. They just kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. They basically just come out of everywhere. Now you've got the big guy going here, and then he brings some friends with him. So it's always, well, obviously, the first rule of these types of fights is stay out of whatever circle ends up on the ground. And then kill the little guys before you kill the big guy.
Made it inside. Huh. Don't know what you're doing in our compound. But since you're here, let's see what you're made of.
once you're in the compound, now she expects you to do these tests to see if she's willing to work with you. So they'll choose 3 different random types of instances that you have to go in and beat the bosses from. And depending on which ones you're talking about, depends on its hardness, really. As you can see, pretty simple so far. They just eventually get harder and harder until you get to the boss guy. And there's the bigger. Like I said before, it's always a good idea to kill the little guys before you concentrate on the big guy, because the big guy may hit harder, but the little guys will be picking at you down until you're pretty much dead anyway. You can also pick up these little light things if you want to. I don't really find that they're that necessary unless your monitor is really dark.
Gewehr.
Probably the easiest guy of all of them, just because you don't have to do anything to summon him, he just comes. And just to mention a good rule of thumb, when you're playing on platforms like this where if you fall off the edge you're gonna die, it's always a good idea to stay in the middle of the platform just in case your mob does a knockback effect, which we will see here possibly in the next one, but definitely when we fight the husband and wife team.
I was almost up to Mando's standards.
Well, it should be since I'm a Mando. Poor kitties. Now the big kitty.
Stamina increased. +1. Kill counter.
Okay, and then we're coming up on Joss and Volk, a husband and wife team, Mandalorian team. Joss likes to do a knockback effect.
Done pretty well for yourselves.
Now,
But you're in the
previous to
arena
a few patches a
Meet
while
Joss
ago,
and Volk,
he would
husband and wife.
knock you
Tough as
off the
dirt,
edge and
still
then you would
undefeated,
die.
and
I'm
still
not
eager
terribly
to
sure on
prove
story
themselves.
mode, which is what I'm doing. If he does that, when he does that, he doesn't just, you just pop back up. So we'll see if it happens.
I will destroy you!
My husband, the pushover. This is how it's done, Joss.
St. Joe always fight better, Rito. Let him have it. I exist to serve. File eliminated. Report. Dead.
Together we can't lose. Joss, you're doing it wrong.
Keep up, Volk.
And also what you may have noticed is they take turns after a certain point. And then when they're not wanting to fight anymore, they'll pop up in the air. Just kind of have to kill them down as best you can.
To hand it to you. That
There
was
we go.
something.
Now let you know, in
It's
veteran
time
mode,
now.
they're not that easy. Let's fight these guys before we get to
Dead.
Torch. Anybody else? Now the torch fight is, it's pretty easy except you have to watch your feet. It's probably hard to tell now, but these are big metal plates over the volcano, and so what happens is when you engage her, every once in a while she will switch around the plate so that you're standing on top of open open volcano, if you don't move, you're going to take a lot of damage.
I thought you could fight.
And she taunts you with unreasonable expectations.
Or not?
Just like that. She will fly up into the air and do these, like, basically what would amount to your death from above, but the real pain is the lava.
And you're good. I'm better. Won't let you win. Not bad.
Deathless.
You have to go click on her banner, and then she'll do an ending cinematic, and then you'll be able to get out of the instance.
Son of a... I'm impressed.
Can I count on you and your good case?
And that's it. Easy peasy on story mode, that's for sure. Alright, so basically what we're looking at, it's a fairly easy run. Now, in veteran mode, it's kind of deceiving how fast he and I ran through that instance, because honestly, when you get into veteran mode, for example, I'm a fairly well-geared bounty hunter on my on Jenna, but not like, you know, high rating geared. Most of these flashpoints from the older expansions are fairly easy to run on solo, even if you're going on veteran mode. I don't think they let you do that anymore, but anyway, I think you have to queue up for veteran mode unless you go directly to the instance. But anyway, I tried one time doing Voss and Joss and Volk on my own with my level 50 Taurian companion. We got our butts handed to each other every single time. It was crazy. So I recommend that if you do veteran, that you either have a full group or you go with group finder. That way you're not going to get your buns handed to you, at least not as easily. Alright, well that is it for Blood Hunt. If you appreciated this video, please feel free to follow. I appreciate all my followers. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. And if you have any questions or comments, throw me a Twitter. I'll see it. And thanks so much. Good night.